Seen a lot going on social media recently, and it does seem that the left are panicking after Saturday's rally because, of course, the scale of it was genuinely unprecedented. I've seen people on the left and the right going, yeah, it was probably about 1 million people. Only the mainstream media, weirdly enough, are like, oh, it was 110,000 guys. It's like, look, man, like that's like a football stadium, right? It's 100,000 people, isn't it? So we saw the crowds. We know that there was way more. So don't give us that. And everyone on the left and right can both see, yeah, okay, Tommy has pulled off an incredible win here. Not just Tommy, all of us, but we pulled off an incredible win here. And they are panicking. They realise, oh, wait, actually, the country is politicising in the direction of the right. And that's what the Raise the Flag protest was. I mean, this was such a great precursor. It was genuinely the sort of signs bubbling up from the underground, the fact that everywhere in England, they were just putting up England flags, and it was England flags. It wasn't like, there were Union Jacks, but England flags were what was primarily being put up. And that was a shot across the bows to them. They were like, oh, wait, something is happening here. It's like, yes, something is happening here. And then, boom, 1 million people out in London. Oh, something's happening here. And so you get people like Owen Jones who are like, okay, we're screwed, guys, because we got like 5,000 people out and we were completely surrounded, kettled in by them. And so Owen has posted this thread here. And I just thought we'd go through it because it's not that he's going to say anything that's very interesting or useful, but it's him as a weather vane, not weather vane, sorry, as a thermometer, so we can read the temperature of the left. Because Owen Jones, whether you like him or not, I mean, he does have, a lot of clout. Oh, he's got me blocked. But he's got, of course he's got me blocked. What am I talking about? But he's got like 1 million followers or something. Yeah, there we go. He's got 1 million followers. And he is a sort of venerable fixture on the left. So I think he's a fair barometer of what is happening with them. So anyway, he says, the biggest far-right demonstration in British history is a gruesome reminder of how much trouble we're in. Yeah, but you forgot the Giga Chad, Owen. Since the financial crash, the direction of travel for the far right across the West has only been in one direction, and that's up. Well, that's great news, isn't it? I mean, you should all take heart, folks. The direction of travel of the far right in the West has only been in one direction, and that's up. The far right control the world's only superpower. That's right. Donald Trump is in the White House in America. And Owen Jones has got to use a far right controlled platform. Because remember, when they say far right, what they just mean is anti-left, basically. Anyone who is wise to the games of the left. You don't even have to have a particularly strong agenda of your own. You just have to know the left are the problem. And suddenly you're far right. And that's how it's always been when they characterize people as far right, really. If they thought you were a Nazi or a fascist, they would just call you a Nazi or a fascist. They're not shy about that at all. If they thought that you have an affirmative political ideology. But a lot of the time it's just people who are like, oh, I want a sensible country. I just don't want to see my country destroyed by raging communist lunatics. But yeah, so that basically means that everyone is far right at this point. Anyway, far-right parties across the West have entered coalitions or even lead governments. Great, and God willing we'll get more, won't we? Mainstream political parties are adopting the rhetoric and policies of the far-right, only legitimising them and fueling their rise. Yeah, I mean, he must be furious at Starmer, who's promising to deport thousands. He's like, oh, deportations back to France are happening today and all this. Like, oh, yeah. I'll take your word for it. When I start to see fewer, like, rogue Somalians or Indians or whoever just wandering around, just foreigners from everywhere just wandering around my town now. So when I see fewer of them, then maybe I'll start to believe you. Young men are being radicalized by a devastatingly effective far-right online content. That's us, boys. You with your anonymous account on Twitter, going all the way out to the influences. This whole machine is, as Owen Jones says, devastatingly effective. The left is way behind on effective video content. Don't I know it, man. What happened to BreadTube? Where's your video essays, boys? Break them out. Yeah, we're much better than them. And it's good. He's right, Devastatingly effective online, far right online content. Yeah, so because what we do, right, and this, I know you shouldn't give away the magic formula, but what I do is I think, okay, I'm an English person and I'm in England, and I like my country and I want to pass it on to my children, and then I just say the truth about what I see. I try not to exaggerate. I try not to misrepresent. I try to make sure I am aware of what the other side thinks, which is how I found myself on Owen Jones's timeline. All I do is just try to have a reasonable interpretation of this, which is, of course, the most far-right thing you can do. And apparently it's devastatingly effective. So thanks for the compliment there, Owen. I appreciate that. The economic insecurity of neoliberal capitalism, fused with the great reverse in living standards and public provision after the financial crash, combined with the disastrous fallout of 21st century Western wars, have all driven the rise of the far right. Yeah, they all are minor contributing factors, I'll grant you. But mostly, Owen, it's the government letting in more than 1 million foreigners a year. That's what it is, Owen. I don't want so many fucking foreigners in my country. I don't care if you think that makes me hateful. I don't care if you think that makes me far right or xenophobic. I want my country to be an English country, because it is the only English country, actually, because it's England. And I would like it to remain that way forever, at least into the distant future, so my children can grow up in England, Owen. You can sit there and pretend like none of the cultural and the sort of psychic damage that has been done to this country through mass immigration isn't real, but everyone can feel it. Everyone knows that it's real, and it's become very apparent that we are just looking at the end of England if we carry on like this. And I'm not having it. I don't want it. These people all have countries of their own, and they can just go back to them. There's no harm done. They shouldn't have been here anyway. It was completely against our democratic will that they were here, and they can just go home to where they belong, where they're used to being. They're not used to being here. They shouldn't be here. They can go home. And that doesn't mean that every single brown person in the entire country needs to just be rounded up and deported. That means that those people who have been allowed here for reasons that are very hard to fathom, like for some reason, we allow in 275, 300,000 work visas a year. And then we allow about the same number of dependents. Why would we want to bring foreign dependents to this country to claim our benefits? Why would we want that? Why are we doing that? It's madness, Owen, and it looks like population replacement, and I just don't want it. So these people, who shouldn't be here, barely speak English, have no interest in the country, they can go home, okay? Mainstream media outlets, social giants, and mainstream politicians are all playing their role in the far-right ascendancy. Well, that's great. I mean, I'm glad to hear that. With every passing day, the far right feels more confident and more emboldened to intimidate and silence their opposition. But the thing is, that's not what's happening, is it? I mean, you spent years trying to intimidate and silence your opposition. I mean, you literally would call for censorship. You would literally call for people to be not given platforms, to be shut down, or to be criminalized. And now that that's not worked, you're like, right, okay, well, they're definitely coming to shut us down and silence us and criminalize us. It's like, I don't think that's actually happening. I mean, there are going to be lots of people online who want that to happen. But in reality, all it is you're going to start losing, like votes. You're going to, at the ballot box, you're going to start losing. And you're going to have to accept the existence and legitimacy of those people who are opposed to you. That's all it's going to come down to. Because the entire left-wing strategy from day dot until now was, don't allow the people who disagree with us to be on the same platform as us, because they will destroy us, because what we're asking for is unbelievably damaging. And of course, no one wants something that's unbelievably damaging. So we have to conceal it behind a series of euphemistic left-wing rhetorical devices, and just make sure that the people who would be able to say, well, hang on a second, this means X, are shouted down as a racist, a xenophobe, a sexist, a transphobe, blah, 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 blah. I don't care. Don't care. We're too many now. You understand. There's just too many of us. We all understand what's going on. We can all see it. And again, it's not even a racial thing. Oh, it's not even racial. I went to this the rally, right? And on the way back, I had to get a taxi back to the airport. The train station. And I'm talking to this taxi driver. He's a Pakistani guy, and he's obviously not from here, but he's not like a lunatic. And he's like, I don't know why the government are letting in so many people, man. And he doesn't know who I am. Like, he just starts talking about it. He's like, yeah, there's a beautiful area, but I don't know why the government are just letting in so many people, because everything's going downhill. And I was just like, yeah. And then we started talking about the Boris wave, right? Because he's not a part of the Boris wave. Like, he came in like a decade ago or something like that. We started talking about the Boris wave, and he's just like, there are just Somalians hanging around in the town centre. They're like, like people from like wherever, in Asia and in Africa and in South America, who are just hanging around his town centre, not working. They're just drinking coffee at coffee shops, just doing nothing. And he's there paying his taxes, and he's just like, it just really annoys me. And I'm like, you're preaching to the choir on this one, bro. Like, there's nothing that annoys me more than knowing that I'm paying for these fucking lazy shits to just sit around and do nothing. For no reason. There's no reason that they're here. But anyway, the point is, yeah, you're right. We're winning, but we're going to win at the ballot box. This is total Steve Bannon. Like, we love democracy because we're going to win. We're going to get the votes because fundamentally, truth, justice, and decency are on our side. And you're a weird gay pervert who who goes to like weird orgies and stuff, Owen. You do really gross things in your free time. It's like, I don't care that you do these things, but the point is, you're not like representative of the good. Like, that's not the good life. Like, you seem to be disgusting, and I don't think you're representative of very many people, frankly. So we don't need to like intimidate and silence you. We're just going to crush you at the ballot box. The far right want to shut down democracy. See, this is the thing, right? That as far as they're concerned, shutting down democracy is allowing us to vote for the things we want. Right? Allowing us to talk about the things we want to talk about. That to Owen is shutting down democracy. Unless he is given, unless the left are given complete, full spectrum dominance over a space, democracy has been shut down. The left has been crushed. Well, that's too bad. That's just too bad for you, Owen. I don't care. I'm totally unsympathetic. We're going to do what we want to do, and we don't have to ask your permission. It literally is that simple. He says, they want to crush the left, who they say they see as traitors. It's like, well, you are traitors. Like, you are literally traitors. You are literally siding with the foreigners against your own people because you're ideologically captured. I mean, you are literally traitors. Don't know how else to describe it. You literally want to swamp the country with foreigners and deprive my children of their inheritance. You are literally a traitor. And then he says, and to drive out minorities. Well, not every single one, but there are millions here who shouldn't be here and they can go home because they have somewhere to go. Who they see as an existential threat to their notion of Western civilization. Yes, as in, if the group of people in Scotland are replaced by non-Scottish people, then it's not really fair to call it Scotland anymore, is it? If the group of people who live in England are replaced by people of non-English extraction, then it's not really fair to call it England anymore, because that would be a threat to these civilizations. So yeah, I mean, Owen, you can say, like, oh, they're evil far-righters, but we are saying things that are true. And everything they do is a means to those ends. In the same way that everything you do is a means to communism. It's not secret. You're a very public communist activist. The far right have always been cynical shapeshifters. I mean, not really. Like, we've been quite consistent, actually, haven't we, about the things that we want. Look how they adopted free speech as a mantra to try and silence hateful incitement, opposition to hateful incitement, and now crush pro-Palestinian sentiment and blame the left's rhetoric for the assassination of Charlie Kirk. It's Keir Starmer who's arresting the Palestine Action guys. We don't really have anything to do with Palestine. I don't give a shit about Palestine. In the same way I don't give a shit about Israel. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We are not crushing anything, right? But secondly, you are the hateful ones. As I think you've accurately identified here, it is your hateful incitement through your rhetoric that led to the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And so saying, well, listen, man, actually, maybe you aren't allowed to paint a target on your political opposition and say, just murder them. Maybe that's not on. Maybe that is actually not acceptable. Because I'm not in favour of murdering anyone. You know, if I call you a traitor, it's only because of your actual political actions. But I'm not saying you should be killed for it. I'm not saying anything should happen. And I very, very publicly have stated that I think we can win all of this via democracy. And I'm very confident, in fact, that you think we can win all of this via democracy. So don't worry about it, Owen. Don't worry about it. We're just going to start voting for the things we want, and we'll see how the chips fall, shall we? It's an open question whether democracy will survive as we understand it in much of the West. Now there we go. As we understand it. Because we, of course, are going to still vote for things, right? We're still going to have democracies. We're still going to vote for, the local representative. We're still going to vote for local councillors. The question is, will we have the lattice framework, the oppressive framework of foreign and international human rights legislation that controls our countries and forces them into a leftward direction? And that might not be the case. It might not be the case. If we get a patriotic government, we can repeal all of that. We can get rid of it. We can decide, actually, we don't need all of this, and that can go. And this is a general trend towards more authoritarianism. Oh, boo-hoo. If your libertarian paradise has brought us to the point where we can't really think of ourselves as being safe in our own country, if we genuinely are walking around the streets in this kind of a narco-tyranny, being like, I was on the train. I had to go through the underground in London, and I genuinely didn't feel safe. Like, I don't know where. It's probably just that I've watched too many videos of people being just randomly stabbed in the neck on trains, right? And it's not just one you're thinking of. I just didn't feel safe. I didn't know who the people around me were. I didn't know why they were going to do the things that they do. They're not predictable to me. This is the danger of this radical multicultural experiment. And I don't want that. And Hungary has offered a playbook on how democracy can be gradually asphyxiated. But Hungary is a democratic country. Orbán was voted in, he was voted out, and then he was voted in again, and I'm sure he'll be voted out again. Like, Orbán isn't a dictator. He has been out of government and then back into government because people decided to vote for him. I mean, Owen, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Anyway, today's far-right demonstration was not as big and successful as Tommy Robinson had predicted and hoped. Well, I think it was. I've seen plenty of people on the left who are like, shit, he's whipped us here. They definitely had 1 million. And so you complaining, you saying, oh, it's only 100,000. No, that's not true. You know that's not true. What matters here is the direction of travel. It was once unthinkable that over 100,000 people would take part in a far-right demonstration in Britain. The catastrophic Labour government is doing all it can inadvertently to drive the far-right by failing to address or even exacerbating economic insecurity while legitimising anti-migrant rhetoric and policies. It's the left that has to get its act together to save Britain and the West from an obvious looming catastrophe of far-right authoritarianism. The stakes are absolutely terrifying. Well, I'm glad you're pissing your pants over this, Owen, because, I think that your time in the sun is done. I think your ideology's time in the sun is over too. I think this is going away because you're not any kind of solution to the problems that we have. You are the cause of the solutions, right? All of the problems that we have are the problems of an excessively liberal order that was put into place long ago, but really cranked up under Tony Blair and then just let to run wild under the Conservatives. Like, none of this is something that you really disagree with. What you don't like are the results of this, which is to trample on people's sense of connection to their own country and possession of their own country. And if that means, well, we get rid of that order and have an order that actually privileges the British people over foreigners in their own land. I know this will sound crazy. What am I, Nazi? A country that looks after its own people first. Oh God, it's World War III. Like, it sounds ridiculous, right, that I have to say this, but this is genuinely where we are. And if we have that, then democracy is over as he knows it, according to Owen. And there's just no way that he's going to get around this. But the thing is, the left know that they're done, right? The left know that they've got nowhere to go. They've got no further reserves to call upon. People don't believe in this nonsense, and they can see all around them. All right, okay, the country is just falling apart. It's flooded with foreigners. Everyone's poorer. Things are getting worse. It feels more dangerous on the streets. Why would I want to be a fucking leftist again?